When I was 68, my wife Sophia passed away. When she was young, she confessed to me that she had a hidden illness and couldn't have marital relations. I was heartbroken and only wanted to help her take care of her health. People whispered that she couldn't have children. She would come home and cry. I couldn't stand it, so I quietly said that I was the one who was ill, letting others direct their mocking looks at me. I thought such a quiet life could still be happy. But after Sophia was gone, I discovered that everything had been an illusion. She was actually very healthy and could have borne and raised children. It was just that the person she loved had never been me. That sincere confession was merely her excuse to remain pure for another man. After Sophia died, I didn't eat or drink for 2 days and stayed by her body. After the cremation, I held an urn of her ashes and took her to every dating spot we had visited when we were young. I'm old now, and my legs aren't as nimble, but I want to spend a little more time with her. I thought that before I let her go, if I took her along the roads we once walked, she might have something to hold on to when she went down. How could the woman who had accompanied me for most of my life become just an urn of ashes? Every time I thought of that, tears streamed down my face. At a well-known scenic spot, a travel vlogger recorded the whole thing. In an instant, I became the most pitiable grandfather on the whole internet. Netizens praised me, saying the love of the older generation is the most touching. They praised Sophia for never abandoning me. Even though I couldn't have children, she still walked beside me. I paid no mind to the online chatter. I only wanted to spend more time with her. Sophia loved to look nice, so I tied a ribbon on the urn and stuck a few small flowers on it. She also liked taking photos, so at each scenic spot, I took pictures of her with the landscape. Finally, the burial day arrived. I cried my heart out and burned the memories of that time into ash. After laying her to rest, I couldn't hold on either and collapsed at home. 3 days later, Sophia's diary shattered this beautiful illusion. Her diary, from handwritten entries at the start to posts on a foreign social platform, contained tens of thousands of pieces spanning decades. The account belonged to Sophia, but I had never known. Every word was her secret, unspoken love for Julian. Julian, the floral dress I'm wearing today is very pretty. I want you to see it. Julian, today is my 10th wedding anniversary, but all I can think is that if only I could be with you. Julian, I'm old now. Would I still be that beautiful girl in your heart? The final entry even included a video. Sophia's hair was white, her eyes brimming with tears, and her gaze betrayed a shy young girl's blush. She wore a bright Western-style red dress and had light makeup on her face. Julian, I'm about to go. When I was young, I didn't have the fortune to be with you. Now at the final stage of my life, I want to be bold and live for myself. You said you like to see me in dresses. Look, this dress is new. I haven't shown it to anyone. I put it on and marry you once. In the next life, we'll continue to love each other. My hands trembled uncontrollably as I leafed through these entries. I had thought that keeping a diary was simply Sophia's hobby, and I even joked she would have it printed by a famous foreign publisher. When she was hospitalized, she insisted on buying dresses and putting on makeup for videos. I admired her desire to please herself, so I did my best to fulfill her wishes. In those final days, I only wanted her to be happy. Now it seems she truly was happy. Julian's love sustained her spiritually, while I took care of her in daily life. It was, in its way, a complete happiness. Long-lasting love moves people most. After this account was discovered by netizens, everyone forgot about me. But Sophia and Julian's love was praised across the internet. Julian also registered on a foreign social platform and posted a new message. Only 4 short characters. My heart remains. They cried for that steadfast love, then turned and blamed me. My infertility was magnified without end, nailed to the pillory of the internet, ridiculed by millions. He only clings to Miss Sophia because he knows he can't have children. Otherwise, who would marry him? Of course, the artist Miss Sophia is famous. Her assets are enormous in dollars. Now look, the money's in his hands. What an old-time Phoenix man, the first to eat out the family line. Reading these vicious comments, my heart began to wrench, the pain making it hard to breathe. The front door was pushed open and my daughter Chloe came in. "Dad, find time to handle the paperwork. Mom's estate should be transferred to me." She didn't see my ashen face. All she wanted was for me to cough up the money, as if I were some greedy person. I forced myself despite the discomfort, found my medicine in the cabinet, and swallowed it dry. "Chloe, wait until I'm feeling better, and I'll go with you to take care of it." She was impatient. "Always the body, always the body. Do you know how much gossip Mom endured because you couldn't have children? Now Mom's gone, and I'm her only daughter. Haven't you dragged Mom down enough? Do you want to keep ruining my life too?" My emotions, which had just calmed, were provoked again by her few words. But Chloe kept on chattering. "Dad, if you had the ability to be a man, Mom wouldn't have faced so many cold looks all these years. You're old now. Don't be stubborn. Everything Mom had was meant for me." Looking at the daughter I raised to adulthood before me, I felt unbearably cold inside. When we married, Sophia cried and said there was something wrong with her body, that she couldn't have a marital life nor bear children. All I could feel was pity. I beat my chest and promised that as long as there was love, nothing would be a problem. But after being married for a while, rumors inevitably started circulating outside. It was then that she brought home a little girl and told me she wanted to adopt her. I asked around and learned it was Julian's child. I didn't agree, but Sophia wouldn't listen to anything, crying and holding the child tightly. Do you know those aunties and older women ask around about me whenever I go out? They meddle so much. I sometimes wish I were dead. Sophia clutched the child, refusing to eat or sleep, insisting she would only acknowledge this child in her life. After a few days of stalemate, seeing her haggard face made my heart ache. In the end, I relented and let her stay. When faced with gossiping women outside, helpless, I took the blame upon myself. There's something wrong with my body. I delayed Sophia. The rumors grew larger, and in the eyes of outsiders, I became a man who couldn't have children. But as long as I could protect Sophia, I was willing. Yet her attitude quietly changed day after day, and she began to look down on me more and more. Our daughter grew up and even joined Sophia in despising me. And now, boldly and rightly demanding my inheritance, there was no trace of the obedient, adorable girl she once was. I felt a little ridiculous. In half a lifetime of marriage, I believed I had done very well. Toward Sophia, I cared for her with all my heart. Toward Chloe, I poured every effort into raising her. After so many years of dutiful devotion, it couldn't win even a sliver of appreciation from the two of them. I never expected them to treat me the same way, but such conduct was truly heartbreaking. Sophia even secretly declared her deep love for her first lover, showing no regard for my situation. She seemed to have forgotten that I had no defect at all. The concealment I did for her out of goodwill, in her eyes, seemed to have become the truth. Chloe still looked at me coldly, as if I were a stranger to her. "Dad, you're old now. I don't want to be too harsh, but please don't tie my life to yours. Call you Dad? That's because I repay kindness and remember you raised me. Think about all the good Mom did for you. Won't you feel guilty?" The door opened, and Julian stood in the doorway dragging a suitcase. He walked straight in. He acted as if he had returned to his own home, dropping what he held and beginning to look around, tears in his eyes. "These are the Western ceramics Sophia and I made together. This is the year Sophia secretly painted me." He walked around the house, and only then did I realize that those items that had accompanied Sophia and me for decades all bore Julian's influence. Chloe brightened with surprise and smiled, calling sweetly, "Daddy, you're finally home." She turned to look at me. "Bring out Mom's ashes." I looked at the father and daughter in front of me in puzzlement. I had to admit, when Chloe and Julian stood together, they were unmistakably father and daughter. Most of her looks came from Julian. No wonder when Sophia got sick later, she would often stare at Chloe's face absent-mindedly. Chloe repeated, "Where are Mom's ashes?" "Dad and I will go pick them up." "Mom is gone. Are you still going to limit her freedom?" Being by Dad's side was her final wish. I gave a bitter laugh. Chloe's college entrance exam results weren't great. I contacted many friends and finally managed to get her into a well-known university in West Lawn. But she refused to go and insisted on going to the Northland. I couldn't persuade her and felt so sorry for her, so I spent a large sum of dollars to send her there. During her undergraduate and graduate years, she rarely contacted me. Her calls and video chats always went to Sophia's phone. She seldom came home. I worried about her being alone studying abroad, so I always sent living expenses in dollars, never less. I suddenly realized that Julian lived in Northland. Chloe, when you were studying in Northland, did you already get in touch with Julian? Her eyes flickered for a moment, then she looked me squarely in the face. That's my biological father. What's shameful about me contacting my dad? I see. No wonder that after all these years I couldn't get close to her heart. I treated her like my own daughter, but she never saw me as her father. After all, she had already acknowledged her biological father. How could she care about someone redundant like me? In her eyes, I was the villain who ignored Sophia's feelings and forcibly tied her to my side. I hadn't understood my role, presuming I could gain love and family from them. Now it seemed that, after living most of my life, I really was a joke. Seeing me silent, Julian straightened his tie with genteel composure. Mr. Johnson, we're both getting on in years. There's no need to be too explicit about some things. Sophia is gone. She had many regrets in her life. Just fulfill one of them and let her be reunited with her true love. I suddenly found it laughable. He was Sophia's true love. Then what was I, her husband of decades? A male housekeeper who appears and disappears at command? Chloe, your mother's marriage certificate has my name on it. He may be your biological father, but what right do you have to take my wife's ashes? When I questioned Chloe, Julian immediately knelt before me. He put on the full appearance of the disadvantaged, making Chloe's eyes fill with tears. Mr. Johnson, don't make things hard for my daughter. If she's wronged, I as her father will feel the pain. I know Sophia and our decades together better than anyone. Please set her free. Chloe cried as she pulled Julian up and turned to glare at me. You didn't only bind Mom. You humiliate my father too. As an old man, aren't you worried about your deeds affecting your merit after you're gone? Mom never loved you, Ethan. How long will you keep deceiving yourself? A buzzing filled my ears. Getting old had indeed made me more sentimental. Many things I was unwilling to probe were, at this moment, laid out openly by Chloe. Mom has been writing a love diary to Dad for decades. All these years, Mom has always slept in a separate bed from you. And me, she was willing to raise Parker's flesh and blood, but not willing to have a child with you. Don't you understand yet? Can you stop being so stubborn? Ethan, you're old already. What are you still demanding love for? I lost all my strength, gripped the chair, and slumped down. Yes, Sophia never loved me. From beginning to end, the young man in her heart was only Julian. I was merely a stumbling block in their path of love. The love diary she had written for decades should have sobered me up long ago. The final video, too, stuck in my throat like a fishbone. I thought Sophia and I respected each other and had an affectionate marriage. But in the end, it all came to nothing. Even after she was gone, her ashes were to be handed over to her youthful lover. She left me nothing. I got nothing. Enough. If I argued anymore, I'd just become a joke. I waved my hand. Your mother's ashes are stored at South County Cemetery. Go handle the paperwork yourselves. Chloe's eyes lit up. She took Julian's arm and was about to leave. Dad, let's hurry to bring Mom back. She can't wait to be reunited with you. As she was leaving, she looked back at me. I have a biological father, so I won't call you Dad anymore. Uncle Ethan, prepare to transfer Mom's assets to me. Why come back? I'll go with you to process it. They left, leaving me alone in the empty house, dazed. Over the years, the money from Sophia's works had all been managed by me. She didn't handle finances, so she entrusted everything to me. I opened Taylor Creative Studio in her name and worked busily, multiplying her value in dollar terms many times over. This was, after all, the result of Sophia's and my lifelong efforts. Chloe was, after all, only Julian's daughter. I couldn't bear to hand all the assets to an outsider. I remembered Sophia in her last moments, holding my hand and saying to me, "Ethan, I've already arranged the inheritance. You don't need to worry. If anything, contact attorney Daniel Carter." I thought for a moment and called him. When Chloe and Julian returned carrying Sophia's ashes, I was still in the same position. A trace of pity flashed in her eyes. Then she became resolute. "Dad, you rest at home first. Uncle Ethan and I will handle the estate matters." I shook my head. "I've already had the lawyer come to the house. Chloe, you took your mother's ashes and you no longer call me Dad. Since you've decided to sever ties with this family, you cannot inherit the estate your mother left. This is our life's work, Chloe. I must properly manage everything she left behind." Chloe sneered. "You really take yourself as the head of the household. My mom took you in for decades and covered up that embarrassing illness of yours. That was a tremendous favor. Now you still want to monopolize the estate. If you think you'll spend it all, you're crazy." She called over the lawyer in a triumphant posture. "Read Mom's will aloud." When the lawyer spoke, it felt like I'd been struck by lightning. She removed me from my position at Taylor Creative Studio, expelled me, and, at the same time, bequeathed all the assets to Julian and his daughter Chloe. She didn't leave me a single dollar. I voluntarily bequeathed all my property to Julian and my adopted daughter Chloe, hoping that the two of them will have safe and smooth lives, and that all their wishes will come true. We cannot be together in this life. Luckily, my beloved daughter is by my side. Having a beautiful memory is enough. If we meet earlier in the next life and are more resolute, we will renew our past fate. I will bear you a chubby baby then. We will surely be very happy." Attorney Carter closed the folder. "That is the entirety of Ms. Taylor's will." Chloe looked at me haughtily. "Hear that? Pack your things quickly. In this house, you will always be an outsider. Have a baby?" But she told me she is congenitally incapable and cannot have marital relations. And also, Julian sneered. "Actually, Sophia is very healthy." The look of triumph in his eyes was so obvious that I understood everything in an instant. It wasn't that she couldn't, she didn't want to. Sophia had never accepted me and naturally wouldn't let me touch her. She wanted to keep her purity for the true love in her heart, even if that cost me my whole life. Ridiculous. She had used such a clumsy lie to deceive me, even driving me to remain childless. Blow after blow slammed into my heart. I suddenly felt a tightness in my chest and couldn't catch my breath. Huff, huff. The air grew thin. I felt death approaching. Endless remorse overwhelmed me. This life had been unbearably hard. I regret it. I hate it. If I could do it all over again, I would never be so foolish. When I opened my eyes again, I saw a white ceiling and smelled the sharp scent of disinfectant. Looking around, I found myself in a ward at St. Mary's Hospital. But this was decades ago. Could it be that I'm back? I adapted to everything as quickly as possible. It turned out that my dying wish had come true. I had returned to the day Sophia pushed me into that car to protect Julian, causing my injuries. By then, Sophia was already a somewhat famous painter, and Julian hadn't gone abroad yet. We had only just been newlyweds. It should have been a sweet time, but she shoved me toward that out-of-control car to protect Julian. In my previous life, I missed a collaboration with a partner because of that and lost the chance to pivot my career. Julian landed a huge break and firmly established himself in the business world. I looked around and didn't see Sophia. Where'd she gone? There wasn't time to think. I pulled out the four, grabbed the phone on the bedside table, and rushed out of the ward. The bid meeting should have just started. If I ran back to Johnson Design Studio to get the USB drive, there'd still be time. At the hospital entrance, I ran into Sophia. She looked surprised to see me. The woman before me seemed much younger, still devastatingly beautiful. But when I looked at her face, the initial fluttering feeling was gone. After living a lifetime and getting a second chance, there was no way I would repeat the same mistake and give everything up for her pure love again. "Ethan, why are you running out?" The bid meeting. I didn't want to talk to her. I was afraid of wasting time, so I tried to pass her. Sophia grabbed me. Don't go. You're hurt. Why stir up trouble? Her words sounded like concern for my injuries, but I knew she was only trying to detain me so Julian could win that big project at the bid. I have to go. Sophia leaned toward my chest. Ethan, this is my fault. You're in this condition and running around. It breaks my heart. Don't go, it's just a bid meeting. I pushed away her slightly stiff body. Don't pretend. You feel uncomfortable being near me too, right? You don't want me to go because of Julian. Don't fool yourself. Caught out. Her expression soured. Since you know, you should listen to me all the more. Julian worked so hard. It's just one project. Let him have it. What's the big deal? Why be so stingy? I'm telling you, Ethan, I won't let you ruin Julian's good fortune. Stay put in the hospital. I started to walk away. By now, Sophia's threats held no power over me. She grabbed my sleeve again, eyes shining with triumph. Ethan, just give it up. If you keep making trouble, I'll divorce you. Phoenix. I answered briskly, and Sophia froze. I said I'll divorce you. I put on a serious face. I promise you, I'm not joking. Sophia went pale instantly and stomped her foot in a rage. I don't care. Your USB is in my hands. You don't even have one. Going won't do any good. My heart sank. That USB contained all my data. If it was really with Sophia, I might not be able to produce another copy in time. Could I really give up? Beep, beep, beep. On the road outside the hospital, a stunning woman sat in a fire-red Rolls-Royce. Her beauty was aggressively striking, making it hard to look directly at her, yet impossible not to want to approach. I recognized her, a rival of mine, the heiress of the Bennett Group, Zoe. She seemed to be honking at me and kept waving. Ethan, get in. I'll take you there. Without thinking, I got in her car and we sped off. Zoe drove for a while, then suddenly stopped. I sat in the passenger seat when she leaned toward me. The distance between us grew smaller and smaller until I could smell her perfume. Zoe wore a pleasant strawberry scent and smiled like a little fox. Ethan, you finally fell into my hands. I was a little puzzled. She pulled out a stack of documents and tossed them onto my lap. I heard your wife took your proposal for a first love. If that's the case, how about working with me? We'll split at 70/30ths. How about that? You can see I'm sincere, right? Zoe had always tried to poach me, but I wanted to make it on my own, so even though her offer was tempting, I never agreed. I shook my head helplessly. Given how things had turned out, I had no choice but to cooperate with her. After all, handing the project over and letting Julian profit would be a real loss. Deal. She composed herself, her expression turning serious. There's still some time before the official start. Get familiar with the proposal as soon as possible. You'll be speaking later. Time was tight, so I couldn't attend to anything else and begin skimming the documents at high speed. Since leaving the hospital, I hadn't had a drop to drink, and after arguing with Sophia for so long, my mouth felt dry. But time was pressing, and I still had a pile of data to learn and couldn't leave to buy water. Suddenly, a cold drink was held to my lips, and I instinctively took several gulps. Only after I fully recovered did I realize Zoe had been feeding me water. Surprised, I turned to look at her. Her earlobes were a bit flushed. She frowned and urged me, "Hurry up and read. We must win this project." With nothing else to do, I lowered my head again and plunged back into the documents. The bidding meeting finally officially began. Zoe had somehow found a suit, and when I changed into it, the size surprisingly fit. As we were about to enter, I stepped back and let her go first. After all, this time, if she hadn't extended an olive branch to me, I wouldn't even have had a chance to compete. But Zoe smiled sweetly and looped her arm through mine. "Ethan, let's go. You're the star today." Her strawberry scent lingered around me, and I suddenly felt boundless confidence. In the venue, I spotted Julian at a glance, and Sophia beside him. Looking at the two of them, I sneered. Sophia truly loved Julian. She didn't hesitate to abandon her hospitalized husband to come and help him. Sophia saw me too. She fixed her gaze on Zoe's hand resting in my arm, a flash of jealousy crossing her eyes. I didn't meet their stares and walked up to the stage to begin today's presentation. In the audience, Zoe's encouraging look followed me the whole time, giving me a lot of confidence and courage. When the PPT finished, the applause was thunderous. Seeing the satisfied looks from the partners, I knew it was in the bag. Julian glared at me with a venomous look for a long time before he reluctantly took the stage with his proposal. He had only said the first sentence when I suddenly frowned and looked over at Sophia. She appeared a bit withdrawn, clearly noticing my gaze, but not daring to meet my eyes. Suppressing my anger, I kept my composure. Julian's presentation continued on stage. He stammered and stumbled, and his answers to the partners' questions were a mess. Several bosses were already dozing off. When the meeting concluded, I was the rightful winner. After exchanging contact information with the partners, I shook hands and said my goodbyes. Zoe was overjoyed and hugged me tightly. "Ethan, I knew you were amazing." The next moment, she was forcefully pushed aside and nearly fell to the ground. Luckily, I was quick and grabbed her hand. Sophia stood before us, furious, still in the pushing posture. "Zoe, this is my husband. Keep your hands to yourself." I watched her arm linked with Julian's and felt speechless. She was the last person who knew how to avoid appearances. How dare she point fingers at me? I sheltered Zoe behind me and met the couple's gazes coldly. "Julian, is the stolen proposal working out well for you?" "Sophia, you're really something, taking your husband's hard work and giving it to another man, offering someone else's flowers as your own." I realized Julian was using my plan as soon as he opened his mouth. "It's just a pity that stolen things never truly belong to you." I know my plan was more than good enough, yet in his hands it was still a mess. Sophia shot me a glare. "Anyway, you have Miss Zoe helping you. What's wrong with me letting Julian use yours? I'm your wife. Your things are mine." I almost laughed in anger. Sophia's robber logic was infuriating. She never thought of me as her wife when she was cozying up to Julian, yet now she remembered that identity. "Aren't you the one who said you wanted a divorce? When are you going to the civil affairs office?" Outside the hospital, her talk of divorce was just a threat, but I had to leave. In this life, I absolutely must get as far away from them as possible. If I'm a sucker again, I'm a fool. Sophia's face paled, but she still put on a tough front. "See how you act. If you keep treating me like this, don't expect to live with me anymore." I had no intention of continuing to live with her anyway. "Don't you always shout about divorce whenever we fight?" I asked sincerely. "You don't love me anyway, so I'll set you free now. It'll be better for everyone." Sophia burst into tears with anger. "Ethan, I know you're jealous of Julian, but what I have with him is pure. What you're doing is freezing my heart." Julian looked at me with reproach too, as if I were the villain. I didn't want to argue further with him, so I grabbed Zoe and started to leave. There were still many work matters to discuss. I was living again for more than just romance. Sophia quickened her steps, trying to stop me, but I stepped aside. "Aside from the divorce, don't come to me for anything else." She had never been treated so coldly by me, and she screamed in fury. "Ethan, who else would want you besides me? You know your own condition. I keep quiet for your sake and your face. I'm being so considerate of you, and you can't be more tolerant of me." Her last lines were heavily loaded. People nearby turned to look, their gazes full of curiosity. Looking at Sophia's smug face in front of me, I remembered our wedding night. It should have been a moment of passion, everything falling into place. But she pushed me away with tears. "Ethan, there's something wrong with my body. Sorry for hiding it from you all this time, but I really don't want to lose you." Her eyes were swollen from crying. I felt heartbroken, and because I loved her deeply, after a few sleepless days I accepted it. As long as we lived well, platonic would be fine. Now, though, I finally understood why she cried so bitterly. There was nothing wrong with her body. She simply didn't want to be defiled by me, so she lied. Those strings of tears were just a dirge for her dead pure love. I worried she was under too much pressure and took the blame on myself so outsiders would direct their gossip at me. But to my surprise, Sophia took advantage of my concession, mistaking my retreat for real weakness, and it only bred a greater sense of superiority. "Don't talk nonsense. I've never seen a woman who'd turn her elbow outward, not protect her own husband, and expose his flaws. Zoe snapped back at Sophia in anger. You say you're both pure and innocent. Well, I saw you two at a private Western-style cinema a few days ago. How come you didn't mention that? Seeing Zoe's furious expression, a warm wave suddenly swept through me. It turned out someone would stand up for me. Zoe shot them both a glare, grabbed me, and pulled me into her sports car. We sped off to the Bennett Group's core studio. She still seemed angry, her face puffed with annoyance. You really are something. Do you have such terrible taste in partners? She suddenly erupted at me like a little cannon. He checks all the boxes and is competent at work. How could you be so blind? That Sophia is obviously a bitch, and you're acting like you're dying for her. You're so foolish. I couldn't raise my head under her scolding. After all, Zoe was speaking the truth. Before I woke up, I really had been that stupid. She glanced at my bowed head, and her tone softened. Don't cry. I'm a bit blunt, but you aren't really crying, are you? I looked up helplessly. I'm just ashamed from your reprimand. Please, Miss Bennett, I'm not that fragile. Zoe awkwardly scratched her head. Actually, I wanted to say these things for a long time, but our relationship has always been kind of distant, so I didn't feel comfortable saying them directly. Sophia doesn't truly like you. She likes Julian. You're just a tool to her. I can't stand people who toy with genuine feelings. If you want a divorce, I can introduce you to a lawyer. That was something I really needed. If I filed for divorce, Sophia wouldn't give in easily. If I could obtain evidence of her affair and present in court and go through litigation, everything would become much easier. My expression turned serious. Ms. Bennett, I need a lawyer. Thank you for the referral. For some reason, she pursed her lips. If you're so polite with me, I won't introduce anyone. Then, Zoe, I called tentatively. She lit up and immediately pushed the lawyer's WeChat to me. In return, you have to work with me. She demanded boldly, bringing me into her studio and asking me to help follow up on several major projects. I was surprised. Wasn't she afraid I'd run off with the core data? You're not that kind of person, Zoe said firmly, her eyes full of sincerity. Ethan, you're talented and smart. I believe that once you escape these messy things, you'll have a better life. A sudden ache filled my chest. I had lived 2 lives, weathered decades of ups and downs, and I never expected to encounter such earnest sincerity someday. Under the lights, her ears flushed slightly. What are you looking at? The computer's there. Now I'm your boss. Get to work. I forced a smile and opened the computer to look through the files. In my previous life, I had managed Sophia's assets for so long. Seeing these familiar numbers again felt natural and effortless. With the experience from my past life, I was full of hope in this one. These data were like old friends, fueling my fighting spirit. I could use the information gap to secure a position at the forefront and perhaps steer the times myself. Seeing me get serious, Zoe quieted down and focused on her own work, no longer bothering me. The peaceful scene was broken by a shrill telephone ring. When I picked up, Sophia's angry voice came through the receiver. Ethan, why aren't you home yet? Are you messing around with that woman named Zoe? I was enraged and about to retort when a pair of slender hands snatched the phone from me. Zoe's hand was soft and slightly cool. When our skin touched, I involuntarily shivered. Her voice, laced with amusement, came through. Yes, Ethan is here with me right now. He's busy and can't talk. What do you want? Sophia was about to go crazy. She shouted into the phone without restraint, telling me to get my ass home. Zoe, eager to stir things up, laughed and added fuel to the fire. He's not coming back tonight. You can enjoy some alone time with your Julian. The phone was taken over, and Julian spoke righteously. Ethan, Sophia, and I have nothing to hide. I'm at her place because of business. Don't picture us as something dirty. I was indifferent. Oh, that's my house I bought. Please leave. The call was slammed down in a fit of anger. After all that commotion, I couldn't concentrate on work anymore. Sooner or later, I'd have to face Sophia anyway, so I packed up and headed home. Zoe looked a bit limp and trailed beside me, wavering for a long time before she finally couldn't help speaking. I'll be there on time tomorrow. I promised you. I won't go back on my word. She stamped her foot. That's not what I meant. What I want to say is, Sophia treats you so badly. Have you really not considered ending it? You deserve better. Why was Zoe worrying about my life now? She fidgeted a little. I know it's not the right time to say this, but could you look at me? Moonlight fell on her face, and only then did I notice a faint tear in her eyes. Seemingly having gathered courage, Zoe went on. I was the one who noticed you back in college. How did you become Sophia's person in the blink of an eye? She has you and treats you poorly. Ethan, I'll wait for you forever. Even if there's something wrong with your body, it's okay. Medicine is so advanced now. We can go everywhere and get it treated. I couldn't help but smile. Looking at Zoe in front of me, I seemed to see my former self, brave and naive, thinking love could overcome everything. Back then, I truly loved Sophia. Now, the girl before me said she would wait for me. My heart was struck hard. I felt as if I had missed so much. I, too, could become someone's regret. But I am not Sophia. Faced with others' feelings, she didn't reject them. She used them like tools. Zoe, thank you very much for liking me. I said solemnly, but my life is still a mess right now. Until I sort things out, I can't give you an answer, sorry. I want to deal with these things first, and then we can talk properly. Thank you for being honest with me. Zoe wiped a tear and gave me a bright smile. Go on. I really didn't misjudge you. You're just as gentlemanly and knowing your place as ever. After saying goodbye, I set off for home. Following the previous life's pattern, Sophia would soon bring Chloe back. I didn't want to be entangled by that blood-sucking mother and daughter pair again. As soon as I opened the door, a small figure lunged at me. I tensed all over. Dad, are you my dad? The little girl before me was the childhood Chloe. How could she have come back so early? Could my rebirth have disturbed the timeline? After a split-second panic, I quickly calmed down. Where there's a will, there's a way. Things not following the script was fine. Maybe from another angle, I could rid myself of them even faster. I gently moved Chloe aside. Kid, I'm not your dad. Sophia hugged Chloe to her chest with a pained look, and for once, softened toward me. Ethan, these past few days were my fault. I can't have children. This child is so likable, I brought her home, thinking she'd bring some life into our house. Ich stared her expressionlessly. She looked guilty, rolled her eyes, and averted her gaze. Sophia, you don't think I don't know this child is Julian's, do you? Her face went instantly ashen. I stepped past Sophia and went into the spare bedroom alone. Since we got married, we had slept in separate rooms. Now, that actually gave me time to look for evidence. I remembered the love diary from my previous life and suddenly realized that Sophia had been writing for quite a while now. If I submitted this as evidence to the lawyer, I wondered whether it might help push the divorce forward. Relying on memory, I found a foreign social media account. She had quite a few followers. Her bio sounded very literary. I've already married love in my heart. In real life, forced to marry me, enjoying my meticulous care and never lacking material comforts, saying one thing and doing another indeed. I quickly skimmed the account's content. As expected, it was full of Sophia's love records. Only the object wasn't me. Just a few days ago, the two of them had gone to the Western-themed amusement park where their relationship began to reminisce. When the Ferris wheel rose to its highest point, they held each other's hands. Feelings may arise, but propriety limits them. Now that I am a wife, I cannot go further. But for that brief moment of fingers interlaced, I can't help but recall the sweetness of our courtship. Such melodramatic words, and yet she had many fans lauding her. I smiled and sent everything to the lawyer. This was the best evidence of marital infidelity. I read all her posts. The more I read, the funnier it seemed. Only when I was fully sober did I realize Sophia was nothing special. I slept soundly. The next morning, as soon as I opened the door, Chloe rushed over. Daddy, don't you like me? Please don't drive me away. Her eyes were pitiful, as if waiting for me to soften. I bent down and told her seriously, Your dad is named Julian. He's the one your mother likes best, not me. If you need anything, go to them. Uncle will ask you to leave soon, and then your dad and mom will get married." Chloe burst into tears. Sophia ran over, scooped up the crying Chloe, and shot me a glare. I put the divorce agreement in front of her. Sophia flew into a rage and tore it to pieces. "Ethan, what do you mean? You want a divorce over something so small? Or are you saying you mind my health problems and won't take responsibility?" I watched her performance quietly, unmoved, even a bit amused. What responsibilities do I have? In my last life, I worked myself to the bone, and it still wasn't enough. Why should I pay for her tragic romance? Watching Sophia hysterical, I spoke softly and repeated the line that made me sick to my stomach. Haven't you already married love in your heart? If you're going to be responsible, find your true love, not me, the sucker. I once loved you sincerely and covered up your health issues, but you treated me like a conveniently exploitable fool. Sophia, love requires sincerity exchanged for sincerity. You even brought your lover's child for me to raise. If the roles were reversed, could you accept that? I couldn't help it any longer. You don't have to sign this divorce agreement if you don't want to. I've already hired a lawyer. A contested divorce is no problem. People must be held accountable for what they've done. I'll sue you for marital infidelity and reclaim every right and entitlement I deserve. Ignoring the screams and curses behind me, I headed to Zoe's studio. She greeted me with 2 huge dark circles under her eyes. Maybe because she had confessed her feelings last night, she was much more open with me now. "I thought about you all night and couldn't sleep," she said as I handed her a bag of breakfast. "I'm already starting the divorce process." She looked up in surprise. "Really? When can we go get our marriage certificate?" I was stunned. She was so frank. "Our progress probably won't be that fast." She swallowed 2 bites of bun, her eyes sparkling. "It could be fast, even faster. My parents keep pestering me to get married. I'm just waiting for a high-quality young man to take me off their hands. Let's hurry and get married, have kids, and leave them to the grandparents to raise, then go back to our careers. How great would that be?" I quietly held her back. "You need to take responsibility for your own life. How can you be so sure of handing yourself over to me completely when you haven't even fully gotten to know me?" Zoe looked serious. "Ethan, I've liked you for a long time, even before you knew. Don't always chase after others. Sometimes stop and look. You'll find good scenery right beside you." She seemed a bit embarrassed then, urging me to get to work. I sat at the computer, my thoughts in turmoil. Those 2 sentences of hers seemed to soothe the sadness I had carried for so long. Maybe being reborn makes even your mindset feel much younger. Hearing such sincere words actually moved me to the verge of tears. In the afternoon, Zoe packed her bags and insisted on taking me out to discuss a collaboration. It wasn't until we got off the plane that I realized we had arrived at a Blue Bay resort. She smiled slyly. "The lawyer already told me. Your divorce case was accepted very quickly. So now we can develop our relationship." She smiled brightly, and for a moment my heart skipped a beat. Letting go was also instantaneous. Since life had restarted, why trap myself in the past? It was better to put more energy into a new life I hadn't yet experienced. Sophia was destined to be a stranger. After we returned from the resort, I handled things with Sophia as fast as possible. I changed the locks on the house and told the security guard downstairs not to let her in anymore. The divorce proceeded quickly. The foreign social media account I provided was key evidence, and Sophia was found at fault, gaining nothing. I heard she angrily got back together with Julian. Even moving on at the fastest speed still cost me several months. When everything settled, I was exhausted. I had just received the divorce certificate when Zoe pulled me away to travel abroad. In the 3rd month overseas, she spontaneously put on a Western wedding dress and proposed to me. In the 8th month abroad, Zoe became pregnant, and we finally returned home. After we returned, the gossip from friends around us shocked us both. After Sophia married Julian, Chloe thought she finally had a happy family. But not long after, Sophia became pregnant. I sighed. As expected, She only wanted to have Julian's child. Chloe couldn't accept it. One night, she pushed Sophia down the stairs. The child was naturally lost. The daughter she had devoted herself to raising in the previous life ended up inflicting the deepest hurt on her in this one. Sophia could no longer have children. From then on, she hated Chloe, full of resentment, without the affection she had shown in the past life. And without my careful care, she became trapped in life and did not become the gifted painter with spirit she once might have been. She ended up taking a job at a small company, working 9 to 5. Later, Zoe gave birth to a pair of twins. I heard Sophia had started reminiscing about me on foreign social platforms, which made me feel sick as if I'd swallowed a fly. After instructing my assistant to have Sophia's account banned, I opened the door to the seaside villa. Zoe was playing Western-style parent-child games with the 2 babies. I smiled and joined in, taking one in each arm and lifting the little ones up. I even planted a kiss on her cheek. This is the life I should have.